Sony and Apple just got a massive wake-up call from Japan, and if these specs hold up, the professional video market is about to get flipped completely upside down. For the last few years, if you wanted high-end Hollywood production assets inside the Apple ecosystem, you only had a couple of choices. You were either shooting compressed ProRes RAW on a mirrorless setup, or you were tethering a massive, wildly expensive RED camera to a Mac studio. But Nikon just dropped a nuclear bomb on the camera industry by straight-up buying RED Digital Cinema. Now, the freshly leaked specs for the upcoming Nikon Z9 Mark II show exactly how terrifying this corporate marriage is going to be for the competition. Everyone in Cupertino is likely looking closely at these supply chain leaks right now because this single camera body might just change how we look at professional Mac workflows for the next 5 years. According to the latest supply chain chatter from DG Times and prominent industry insiders, Nikon is moving away from basic incremental updates. They want absolute dominance this time. The headline leak here is a newly engineered 46-megapixel stacked CMOS sensor. Now, I know some internet rumors were predicting a massive jump to 60 megapixels or higher to compete with Sony, but staying at 46 megapixels is actually a genius move for real-world production. It keeps the low-light performance pristine, prevents catastrophic thermal throttling when you are shooting all day, and stops your Mac storage from crying. But the real shockwave here is the speed. Reports from sources close to the LEC indicate this new sensor architecture is roughly 3.5 times faster than the original Z9. Everyone wanted to know if Nikon would pull a Sony Alpha 9 Mark III and throw in a global shutter. The verified answer right now from the supply chain is no, they did not do that. Honestly, I think that is a massive win. A global shutter reads the whole sensor at once to stop motion distortion, but you end up paying a massive penalty in dynamic range and base ISO performance. Instead, Nikon went with a hyper-optimized partially stacked design. It reads out so insanely fast it basically mimics a global shutter without destroying your image quality. We are looking at a leaked flash sync speed of up to 1/720th of a second. That is completely unheard of for a traditional rolling electronic shutter. It means stadium lighting banding and fast-moving distortion are basically dead. To handle that insane amount of data, Nikon is debuting their next-generation silicon, the XP8 image processing engine. This is where the Apple comparisons get really interesting. When the first Z9 launched, it promised 120 frames per second, but the fine print revealed you were stuck shooting compressed 11-megapixel JPGs. The new XP8 chip completely obliterates that bottleneck. The leak confirms a mind-melting 60 frames per second full-resolution, raw burst speed in full FX format. If you drop down into DX crop mode, that spikes to a staggering 120 frames per second in pure RAW. You are getting uncompromised, massive data files at speeds that feel more like a video file than a burst of stills. I am genuinely curious how even the beefiest M-series Max chips will handle scrubbing through a timeline of these images. Let me know in the comments if your current Mac Studio or MacBook Pro could even open a folder of 60 frames per second RAWs without completely lagging out. For studio and commercial photographers who want pixel perfection, they are introducing an expanded native base ISO of 32. Lowering the base ISO to 32 maximizes clean signal-to-noise ratios, giving you dynamic range that genuinely rivals medium-format digital backs. On the autofocus side, the combination of the faster sensor and the XP8 processor means a completely rebuilt deep learning artificial intelligence tracking system. Mark Gurman and other analysts tracking component upgrades note that this hardware calculates tracking points at a frequency never seen in a hybrid body, meaning it won't lose a subject behind trees or erratic sports movements. But let's talk about the real reason this leak is causing chaos across the industry, the video capabilities. This is where RED's DNA is officially being injected into consumer hardware. The leaked video spec is absolute insanity. We are getting internal 12x T-RED RAW video recording up to 8.3K resolution in full 3x2 open gate at 60 frames per second. Think about that. Nikon is putting Hollywood-level color science and proprietary compressed RAW codecs directly inside a rugged, weather-sealed hybrid body. You do not need external recorders or expensive monitors to get true cinema files anymore. This completely bypasses the licensing issues that previously locked Apple ProRes RAW out of certain workflows. They are also throwing in advanced cinema workflows inherited straight from the RED system, including custom picture controls, advanced log profiles like RedLog 3G10, red-colored focus peaking, and anamorphic desqueeze options. This basically bridges the gap between a standard mirrorless workflow and a true Hollywood set. Physically, the body keeps the built-like-a-tank integrated vertical grip that pros need to balance giant glass. But the ergonomics are getting a nice tweak with deeper contouring and a new ultra-bright 5.76 million electronic viewfinder panel. This matches the beautiful panel from the Z9 Mark III, meaning zero blackout, almost zero latency, and a view so realistic you will forget it is an electronic screen. So, when can you actually buy this beast, and how much is the damage going to be to your bank account? While early speculation hoped for a launch alongside major sporting events this year, supply chain data tracked by analysts like Ross Young indicates that Nikon is taking extra time to iron out the advanced processor integration and manage TSMC allocation for their silicon. The official development announcement is highly anticipated to drop late this year, with physical retail shipping expected around early next year. As for the price, preparing your wallet is going to hurt. Industry experts project the launch price to land right around the $6,000 to $6,500 mark. Now, before you complain about the price or look at it like a massive Apple tax, think about what you are actually getting here. This single camera body essentially replaces a top-tier sports camera and a professional cinema camera setup that used to cost $20,000 easily. For high-earning creators, production houses, and anyone deeply embedded in heavy video editing workflows, it represents an incredible value proposition. Nikon isn't just playing defense anymore. They are aggressively trying to dictate the future of the entire professional imaging market, and Sony should be very worried.